I got the tip. I go cat in.
Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
And I'm Charles Lewis, your Internet Marketing Specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our program. This is podcast number 236. You can see that on the screen behind us, or you can hear me say that it's podcast 236. That's how that works. As always, there is a tip from our previous podcast. By the way, we are broadcasting live from eWebStyle in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
And as always, live from eWebStyle in Houston, Texas. I'm not going to say it anymore. Don't worry. We have a tip from our previous podcast. And that tip says, mention your nap and mention your nap in the audio of your video and in the description of your video.
Yeah, last podcast we were talking about specifically YouTube SEO and how you can do certain things on YouTube to help enhance your website's placement. And one of the things we were talking about was local placement. And so your NAP, N-A-P, being your name, address, and phone, you want to mention them in the intro of your video, kind of like Chris just did, right? Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas. This is eWebStyle, sort of, kind of how I just did it again.
Yeah.
So that way,
I told you I wasn't going to say it again. I didn't say he wasn't going to say it again.
But what happens is those videos get transcribed, right? And so that content is now indexable,
right.
That's the word, by the search.
It is.
And the part two of the tip was also in the description. And so when we go back and add this video to YouTube and we begin putting it on our blog and sharing it and doing those things, we'll make sure that that same NAP, name, address, and phone is also in the description.
Very cool. Please remember, we are your favorite local neighborhood top position snatchers.
Yes.
Where our mantra is,
don't be a douche.
Yeah, I took that up an octave and it worked a little bit. It didn't hurt my throat so much.
Yeah, I heard it.
If you can, we're going to ask you to do something nice and kind for us, and that is to tweet now. We've even made it really easy. On the screen behind us, you can see #, which is also known as a hashtag.
SEO podcast. This is number 236. Be sure to tweet us. Tag us in your tweets at eWebStyle, at Best SEO Podcast. That way we can link up and follow you and do all of our social stuff.
Excellent. Now, if you like our podcast, you like the audio quality of our podcast, we got to stop saying that. We're like 100 in past that. There are 3 things that you can do. The first one has 3 things within steps. 3 thank you steps. Step 1, go on to iTunes. That's probably the easiest step.
Yeah.
Step 2, create an account. Step 3, write a review. If you choose to, you can send us an email, podcast at
e-webstyle.com.
And we'll probably read it live on the air, good or bad. You know, because
it's not a problem. We'll get to it. We read them all.
That's true. So let's see. The other thing that you can do for us, you can go to our G Plus page. We've made it easy. G Plus has got this long URL. We're not going to read that. We're just going to ask you to go to
e-webstyle.com/Google Plus
or
Google Plus
or
G Plus
or
G Plus.
And all of those will take you to our G Plus local page.
Yes.
There, please make sure to plus
do several things.
Yeah.
When you get there, like first off, leave us a review. Hopefully it's 5 stars.
5 stars.
You know what I'm saying? And then secondly, give us a +1 while you're there, and put us in a circle. So that way, when you post certain things, we'll get it because we're in your circle, and then we'll likely reciprocate that. And when we post certain things, you'll get it because you will be in our circle.
Excellent. And then finally, in terms of doing us a favor, go onto our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/eWebStyle. And when you're there, write us a 5-star review, please. And make sure you're making contact with us. The ways that you make contact with us are facebook.com/eWebStyle, twitter.com/eWebStyle, youtube.com/eWebStyle, instagram.com/eWebStyle. All of those get us to us so you can like us and follow us and connect with us.
Take pictures and share us and tap us on Instagram.
Exactly. Tap. That's what it's called. That's what the kids are calling it these days. All right. We have one other thing. If you are a expert PHP programmer, a WordPress expert, we're continually looking for talented people who would fit in with our vibe. And if you're listening to this, you probably know our vibe. Go ahead and give us a call. We have a unique process. Call 713-510-7846. You can replay it. I don't need to repeat it. If there actually is one other thing you could do, go on to Stitcher. We've got a couple more reviews.
Yeah.
We had some kind of we've got low volume, and a couple of them are kind of 1-star reviews. And when I say kind of, I mean exactly 1-star reviews. So you can help us out if you.
How do you kind of get a 1-star
review?
It is a 1-star review.
Yeah, it's called a speech faux pas. We do have a referral program. You send us an SEO client, they pay us, we pay you.
Pretty simple.
You get a free website analysis. Go to our website, e-webstyle.com/nothing, and don't put the word nothing, although you could check out our 404 page. I actually posted that.
Yeah, put nothing just to see that.
Just to see our 404 page. It's kind of cool.
And if you want to go directly to the analysis, it's like .com/free-analysis.
Yep.
I think.
There we go. There we go. We have
SEO-free-analysis.
That also works. SEO stands for?
Search Engine Visitor Optimization.
What do you do with the visitor after they arrive from a search engine? Now for our segment, we
talk about that today. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, we have our segment, right? We were reviewing before and I couldn't remember if it was right. Algorithm Cataclysm. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so now AlgoCat this week. So Google is releasing something new. It's called Google Stars.
Google Stars, okay.
Google Stars, and it's kind of basically.
So it's about us. Google Stars. That's what's up.
That's what's up, Google. Right. No, but really though, it's basically a content rating system that ranks the content you favorited and presents you with similar content. So to me, this means like individual search results already change, right? Whenever you search, it's likely to be a smidgen different from what I see if I search the same query. But so now what they're doing is, as I go through the internet and I begin +1ing things and I begin favoriting certain websites and certain authors, which makes your authorship extremely important at this point. Then as I begin searching, my results will be categorized by some of the things I favorite the most.
Right, makes sense.
Some of the authors that I tend to enjoy reading.
Right.
And so, so that's important. That's important. So if you don't have your authorship set up, for example, you want to set that up. But more importantly, you want to make sure you're putting out quality content because you want to get favorited and plus by multiple people so you can show in multiple search results.
Absolutely.
Google Stars. I think it's a good thing.
Awesome. Algorithm Cataclysm. All right, I'm going to read a couple of reviews. We've got a ton of them. There's no tear tattoos. I'm having negative tattoos put on again. The first one is, too much talk, not enough content. 1 star. This is by Steve Owns, Steve Owns, O-N-Z, from New Zealand. For
O-N-Z?
O-N-Z, N as in Nancy.
Oh, Ons.
Steve Owns. For SEO, SEM experts, you should know about quality content. I've been listening for 13 minutes, and all you have done is talk about yourselves. Actually, we read news in the first minutes. We read reviews. I guess if you insist that's about
Algorithm Cataclysm.
Okay, maybe he's not listening to this podcast. And you have done, for a 30-minute podcast, my ROI is really bad. Okay, ROI stands for
return on investment.
I
guess you invested his time, maybe?
Yeah, okay, so we'll go with time. Okay, so your time, okay, all right. Let's see if you have a solution. Still waiting for the content of your podcast. So you had enough time to listen. Well, good. That's kind of why we do it, so you can actually write a review. No worries, I just fast-forwarded the first 10 minutes. Thank God I can do this. So he listens. It's good content. He listens.
It's just not coming as fast as he would.
Not as fast as he like, and he's found a solution, and yet he's rating us on the part that he fast-forwards, not on the part that he listens. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, Steve, punch in the face. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to write a review.
Sorry that, well, actually I'm not sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
With you.
Yeah.
We did tell you how to contact us.
Yeah.
And it worked because you were able to contact us.
And that's what we do in the beginning. And anyway, all right, so we don't need to belabor that. Steve, keep fast forwarding, which he won't hear this, apparently. And why don't you go back and rate us for the actual content that you listen to since you fast forward. Next, Chris and Charles. 5 stars! This is from Chucky J. We actually heard one from last time. We'll keep it short. He's like, how to not be a douche, no spam, great content, but they'll give you even more great tips. So that's us. Thank you. Punch of the face to Chucky. Next, we've got some Stitcher reviews. This is a Stitcher 5 stars from Eduardo Garcia.
$13.97. Right.
Excellent podcast. Oh, I even missed that. Excellent podcast. Not childish at all. He was actually rebutting the other review. Thank you very much, man.
Appreciate that. On top of it, man. Punching the head, face.
Please ignore the childish review. Chris and Charles are very serious about SEO work.
Yes, we are.
Yes, they just have a U.S. American humor of their generation. That makes sense. It is similar to, I'm glad I don't have like a 1920s sense of humor. It is similar to many radio morning hosts. They do their job, but part of their job is to make it fun and entertaining. Will their humor appeal to all listeners looking for SEO? Probably not.
Yeah,
in fact, of course not. If you don't like their humor, you will need to filter it out till the meat of the show arrives. So in summary, if what you're looking for is a serious SEO conversations, this is the best there is. Better to get a good SEO podcast done by two likable American goofballs than to get no good SEO podcast at all. That is just my 2 cents. Boom, Eduardo. Yeah, thank you. I think Eduardo was almost speaking to Steve and saying, you know what, dude, just fast forward it. It's okay. And then give them a review on what they actually do.
Yeah, what's up, Eduardo?
Very cool. Man, Stitcher people write long reviews.
Yeah, you noticed that, right? Yeah. It's different from iTunes.
All right, B.A. Teller. That's badass Teller, if you ask me. That's all there is. Title, Best SEO Podcast out there. This one.
That meaning entire planet, known universe.
Yeah, entire planet, known universe, and foreseeable future. Yeah. So I've been going through iTunes looking for good SEO podcasts now that I have a longer commute to work. SEO is something you never stop learning. Yes.
You're absolutely right.
Unfortunately, most podcasts are 2 years old is a lifetime, and they are spammy, pushing MLM scams. eWebstyle has a good structure. They have a show in 2 sections, potatoes and then the meat. We never really ordered. We never. Yeah. They do personality. Let's see. They do explain how to reach them, but it's not pushy. The other reviewer here doesn't like their personality. Yes, it's something that you have to get used to, but their advice is solid. Their style is all their own, and one that will grow on you. Punch in the face isn't a derogatory or bad thing as you may have thought. Punch in the face to you. Good for them for enjoying what they do. Good luck finding a better podcast. You won't. That's worth repeating. Good luck finding another better podcast. You won't. They have the most relevant content. They update regularly, and best of all, it's free. Yes. That goes back to the ROI, I think. Yes. So thank you guys for what you do. Excellent.
Punch in the face.
Yeah.
BAT.
Yeah, that was a badass Teller. Man. I love it.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro.
Very cool. And then Steve Ons, he actually went on to Stitcher and wrote another review, and it was 1 star.
For Fast Forward.
Yeah. So, shouldn't he be positive about Fast Forward? I don't know. All right, so I have a little bit of news.
Because he's thanking God because he can get to the good part.
Shouldn't that be a 5-star rating? Or it sounds like it should be 2.5 stars. Like if our potatoes was exactly 15 minutes and our meat was exactly 15 minutes, you hate half of it. I'm assuming love half of it. Isn't that 2.5 stars? I don't know. Give him the benefit of the doubt. 3 stars.
You get his tip before you go to the news. Got a punch in the face to Photopathic. Right, so
I like the name Photopathic.
Awesome, wow. Photopathic, man. He hit us up on Twitter. He followed us. He followed eWebstyle and Best SEO Podcast. But more importantly, he retweeted it to one of his people. Said, man, had to share the eWebstyle podcast with @RJ Moffat. Had a feeling he'll be hooked. # top position snatchers. Boom. # Patif. Man, punch in the face to you, Photopathic. And check out his site, photopathic.com. Dude got some awesome images, man. I actually looked at it this morning, so appreciate you following
me. With a name like Photopathic,
you have to have
your website better be badass. Like Mr. Badass over there. All right, so real quick, this is interesting. They were talking about in the UN, not UN, in the EU, they actually came out with a court ruling that was saying that Google has to acknowledge and pull down content. And the fundamental issue here is your people's right to information versus your right to be forgotten. And I hadn't heard it in that terms. I really like that concept.
Well, I read that. I think the example I read was talking about different people. I read an article, 14 people who wish Google would drop their content.
Right, yeah. And so, do you have a right to be forgotten?
No, you don't.
So it's interesting, in our legal system, if you're underage, you do, right? So that's just straight up. Like, you can't be identified. If you go to court or jail or whatever as a juvenile, like, people can't have access to that information. So that's one interesting point. And do you have a right to be forgotten? I don't know.
No, I don't think that's Google's fault. I mean, Google, if you shouldn't publish it, maybe the fault shouldn't be at Google for having it available. It should be at the publisher who posted that content.
Maybe the publisher now needs to take it down or something. I just thought that was interesting. And then recently, on Thursday, the U.S. federal government is going to vote on a fast lane, where you can pay more and get better bandwidth. And this is like 4 impacts it's going to have. Potentially higher costs, potentially slower speeds, prioritized content, right? So sometimes, Netflix has already entered into agreements with Comcast. So their videos are going to have priority. What if a Netflix Part 2 shows up and they don't pay that contract? It may be cheaper or whatever, but it may take longer for videos to learn, or there may be a lot of buffering. And then better service for some applications, which that was the physical motion of buffering. And that is the potatoes of our podcast. Time to get into the meat.
I'm really excited about today's meat portion. Right?
Yeah.
So I got an article here posted on Sales Growth Hub, an article written by Chris Berry. He posted this article, and I went through it. He actually did a whole webinar on it, and we may share that, post that online so you guys can see it.
I think I put a link somewhere, either on G Plus or on Facebook or somewhere. So
I'll attach it to this podcast.
Yeah, excellent.
Right, so that way you guys can reference it. But a great article he wrote, and he's really talking about 5 things to convert visitors into prospects, right? And so we talk about continuity. Right, so when you think about somebody going to a search and they're searching for your product, they have some sort of idea in their mind. And so they search for that phrase. And then after they search, they see an ad, whether that ad is a paid ad or whether it's even your meta description in some natural organic ad. And then they click. And once they click,
so just a quick note, in pay-per-click, there's a term for when you incorporate the search term that the user used into the ad.
Well, we talked about continuity, but if you're talking about just the technical aspect, the keyword insertion.
Keyword insertion, that's what I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, keyword insertion.
Yeah, we use DKI, dynamic keyword insertion is what it is. But that continuity, the reason you would do that is so somebody can see what they actually searched in the ad that you want them to click.
Continuity,
increases your click-throughs. But more importantly, once they click and then they get to your site, there still needs to be some continuity. They need to see text and content and information related to the ad that they saw and what they searched.
Yeah.
And so once they've done that, then they've got to let's say your landing page. And that's where we'll pick up at, right? So now they're on your landing page, and I like the way Chris did the article. He said he started off by saying your web page looks amazing. You have tons of visitors, and that's key, right? It starts with the web page. Sometimes people forget that.
Yeah.
You can't do any internet marketing. I was telling them this at U of H at the social media class I was teaching yesterday, that you must have a great website. Yeah. That's the hub of all your internet marketing.
Right.
And so it starts with that page, but that's not it. Right. You can have an amazing looking website and have lots of traffic going to your site, and your website, and have lots of traffic going through your website is entirely different from having a website that converts visitors. So what that means is, we tell the story about having a website and it gets lots of traffic, and then having a company that sends that traffic, right? But it's not generating the business for you.
Who do you fire?
That's what we mean by converting visitors. When those visitors hit your website, you need them to do something. And that something that they do is called a conversion. And so let's get into that. Number one, in order to get that conversion into a hot prospect, was the title of the article, first thing you got to do is know your audience. Know your audience. Are your visitors blue-collar workers?
And we talked about this in a podcast probably about 4 or 5 ago, which is kind of how it got incorporated into this article.
Definitely. Know your audience. Are they blue-collar workers? Are they teenagers? Are they CEOs? Are they urban? You have to cater your website and target the most effective clientele. And so I think this is key. I want to change it and say, understand your targeting.
Yeah.
Know who you want to visit your website. Me and Chris attended a conference yesterday at the Four Seasons, punching the face to Brad Sugars and the whole Action Coach team for putting that on.
Great stuff.
Just awesome stuff. One of the things Brad said was in regards to finding your target demographic, he said, who is your biggest and best client? Think about that. Who is your biggest and best client? And secondly, once you figure out who that biggest and best client is, it could be two different clients, frankly. But once you figure that out, then determine where is the biggest concentration of them.
Right.
Right.
Where do they hang out? Where do they? Where could you put something that they would?
Where could you put an ad, an advertisement, some sort of promo material, anything where they are at? Right. That's your target. So figure out who your target clientele is. Know your audience, because that's who you're talking to. And so I thought that was pretty key. Then he goes on, number 2, he says, know how your product sells. This is extremely important.
Yeah.
We say this because we get a lot of clients who come in and you know, they just want leads, and they haven't really identified or portrayed
or thought about it.
Their sales process, right? You know, understand how your process works. How does your product sell? Is it a fast conversion? Is it a slow one? Does it take 1 page? Does it take 2 pages? You know, how much content does this user need before they're ready to buy? Knowing how your product sells will help you plan an appropriate marketing strategy.
Yeah.
This is extremely important. You must understand, what I wrote down is understand your sales process. Right? You go down to say that smaller things like tech services and locksmith services, you can probably be sufficient with a 1-page close.
Right.
But, you know, if it's a home exterior remodeling, then you may need a longer process. And so what I like to think of, and this is usually the case,
right,
the higher your price for your product or service, it probably has a longer sales process. Yep. You know, because like tech services, I just need to know if you can do it today, you know, and how much is the fee going to be.
Because it's due today.
Exactly. You know, and then I do it. Or even thinking about yesterday, bought an app.
Oh, yeah.
Got
ripped off. Just write a rip-off report. If it were more than 99 cents, I would write a rip-off report.
Exactly. 99 cents, didn't read the description, thought it needed, was going to do what he needed, bought it.
Let me explain that. So, I'm reading a web page, and the web page is talking about how to get videos onto your iPad from YouTube. And then they say, here's an app. Now,
that'll do that for you.
That'll do that. So I clicked the app, I bought it. Like, it's 99 cents, I'll buy it. It should work. Except the app description doesn't mention that it has that capability. In
the page that you saw the app advertisement on did.
Yeah.
And so, but I said that to say that it was only 99 cents. If that same page
was like a 0-page close, right? Like I clicked it, I bought it, it was done. Yeah.
And so, if it had been $10,
I would have read more.
You would have read more, right? And so that's the same thing. So understand your sales process. You know, if your even ours. Right, we understand that it's not cheap what we provide. You know, especially with our all-inclusive package that you'll get. You know, custom website design, SEO, social media marketing, newsletter management, pay-per-click management.
Yeah.
You know, all of that. It's a pricey project. I'll be honest. And so our sales process isn't fill out this form and you're gonna buy. No,
or buy, add to shopping cart, check out.
I need to review your site first. Our process starts with an analysis.
Yep.
Right, and leads to a call, leads to some discussion about what you're doing. Follow with the proposal, and possibly a meeting after that, and then you eventually close. And so, understanding your sales process is key. Number 3, have a unique selling proposition.
USP.
The USP. And this goes down our path of the 3 threes.
3 threes. I like that. 3 threes.
Yeah, USP. That's the first one. Unique selling propositions are important. They tell the customer exactly what makes you different from other companies. If you're doing it right, a USP will tell the customer exactly why they should choose you over any other competitors. So at the end of the day, find something unique.
Here's a couple
about your company.
When I did the webinar that I kind of researched and pulled up, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight, that's a unique selling proposition. I mean, it's a tagline as well, but it's a unique selling proposition. 30 minutes or it's free.
Yeah.
Those are unique selling propositions. That's why you, in the day, called Domino's, was because it was 30 minutes or it's free. Like, that's the unique aspect of it.
Locksmith has a great one. Be there in 20 minutes or less.
Yeah. That's
great
unique.
USP. Now there's some other ones. You know, how long you've been in business. Those are kind of standard, unique selling propositions because competitors probably been in business similar length of time, and so those work. It's great to post them there. They probably don't have as much value as you probably want them to have. BBB is not a USP, just so you know, because everybody's usually part of the BBB. Some others could be like, is your product used by a celebrity? Maybe Oprah uses this, and you have her using it. Great USP.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's preferred by the
Pediatrician Society of America or
blah blah blah, the National Bank of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
That sort of deal. Those are unique selling propositions. So find your USP, find something unique about your company that your competitors aren't doing, and promote that. Number 4, confidence and credibility. Right?
CCP. This is number 2 of the 3 threes.
Yeah, number 2 of the 3 threes. I said that right?
I think
number 2 of the 3 threes. Yeah, confidence and credibility. And so you may be wondering, what is confidence and credibility? How is it different from your USP? Would any confidence or credibility that I choose to give the customer be an extension of the USP? Kind of, maybe.
It could be. Bit, yeah. Sometimes that's definitely true.
Yeah, it just really depends. For example, the confidence and credibility are kind of those things that should be automatic, right? So if you're a lawyer, you should be board certified,
right?
And so that's not really a unique selling proposition because all of the lawyers are going to be board certified. There's nothing unique about it at all.
Right.
It's just confidence and credibility. You better be board certified or I'm losing confidence in you.
And you have no credibility.
Just like maybe you're an electrician. You should have a posted license number.
Yeah.
That's not a unique selling proposition because if I click on the next 4 listings, they all have a posted license number. So find something.
Or they may not be. They all have licenses. They may not be posted. So that's where making sure that it's incorporated into your landing page or your website really make sure that you in a sense, it's not that you stand out. It's that you meet the minimum requirements.
That you're building confidence and credibility.
Yeah.
Because people are used to seeing these things. So even if you have it, and they don't know you have it, you kind of shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it clear.
So the third of the 3 threes, CTA. This is your call to action. And this is by far the most important tip.
If you were going to leave out 2 of them, by the way, never leave out 2 of them. If you were, you would want to go with number 3.
Yeah,
CTA.
Do not leave this one out. This is the most important tip. A call to action is the single most important thing you must have. If you were to have a web page with only one thing and one thing only, it should be your call to action. Without a proper call to action, you can't convert people into anything
at all,
let alone a hot prospect lead or a customer. And so I'll take it a step further, and I'll say make sure your call to action is in line with your sales process.
Yep.
Right. So if your sales process, let's say you close more deals by getting them on the phone first, because that way you can talk to them and then you can guide them down the path of visiting the office and then displaying the products you have and then eventually getting them to buy something. If that's your process, if that's your funnel, if that's what works, then your call to action should be to call.
Right.
Your call to action shouldn't be to come visit. Maybe you have a smaller one that says come visit, or shouldn't be to maybe you have another smaller one that says submit this form,
get a white paper,
and we can call you or download this or whatnot. Those may work. But if you know your sales process is most functional when you get people on the phone first, then make getting them on the phone your primary CTA.
To the degree that if they're downloading a white paper, make the phone number a required field so that you follow up
with the phone call.
To get them back into that process. Even if they don't want to go down the path of filling out a form so that you call them or actually calling you, by filling out those forms with that required, literally, if your sales process converts 90% when they do a phone call and 10% when they just fill it out and go away, then you seriously want to consider making sure that phone, at least make sure the phone field's there and is highly encouraged or whatever.
You need that phone number. I mean, even with ours, like I was saying earlier, one of the things we push for is the free website analysis. Because at that point, you're giving me an opportunity to review your site and contact you and discuss it, knowing that I want to go down the path of redesigning your site. And so understand your sales process and make sure that your CTA is in line with that.
Now, we talked about in the beginning, knowing how your customers buy and your sales process, and you may have a very long sales process, like an exterior siding, and there are some people, even with the long sales process, who will be a one-time close.
Yeah, it happens. We get calls, and
hey, we're ready to sign up. We're like, here's the contract. Let's go. It doesn't happen very often, and it does. So make sure that your process also has room for, has the flexibility, so that somebody who is ready to buy now, who's ready to move forward now.
Yeah, you don't force them
down to like a 3-month sales process. And we're like, I wanted to buy 3 months ago.
And I don't even want to buy no more because I had a bad experience.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. We no longer have that house.
Exactly. So great article by Chris, man. 5 things to convert your visitors into hot prospects. Like I said, we'll post that. Punch in the face.
Ooh, punching myself in the face.
For that article. Great content, great article.
Great. Excellent. Do we have any?
Yeah, we'll be able to.
All right.
What? Yeah, so this is what goes to Snapchat. Right, so remember they were doing some big things. Yeah, kicking the shins to them. First they did the release with the adding the video chat, which was kind of cool.
Right.
But then the FTC got involved.
Right.
And so apparently, Snapchat's whole deal was the fact that you could post messages and photos
and send them to people.
Send them, and then they get deleted.
And they're gone forever, never to be seen again.
And
that sounds like the perfect sexting app.
First off, that's not true. Right? So that's why the FTC got involved. Apparently, third-party apps that access that same Snapchat info retain that information.
Can retain that.
And so even though you may have logged into Snapchat and deleted it so it can be gone forever, well, that third-party app you were using has it.
Or whoever you sent the, sexting image to could actually save it.
Yeah, on their third party.
On their third party app.
And so the FTC not only checked them on it, they have been ordered to be monitored for the next 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah.
Man, that seems a little crazy. Apps don't usually last that long.
For the next 20 years due to misrepresentation of its data collection practices. And
wow.
So think about it like this, right? Let's say you use TweetDeck. I use TweetDeck.
Right.
And so you go on Twitter and you tweet something to me and I check it on TweetDeck. You can log on your Twitter and delete that. My TweetDeck has it.
Still. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's kind of how this works. And so
that's interesting because if a person on the receiving end adds another app, then it can be saved. And I mean, they kind of always knew that you could do a screenshot, right, of your phone if it were an image, which Snapchat that's all they did in the beginning. So that's kind of understood, and they're being held accountable for people putting in third apps, which interesting.
Yeah, I think Snapchat, you're kicking the shin is because you probably should have put that in a disclaimer.
Yeah, if you had a disclaimer.
Hey, people using other apps can still get this info
and keep it and retain it. Yeah.
Instead of just constantly promoting the fact that you're safe, post whatever you want to post, and you can delete it later.
Yeah, interesting.
Kicking the shin to you guys.
Boom. All right. All right. So that is the end of our podcast number 236. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you.
Right there.
Yeah, and over there.
And
don't forget that one. Yeah. Even Captain Critical.
Steve Ons.
Is that it? Yeah. Even you, Steve Ons. Punch in the face to Eduardo and Mr. Badass Teller. Thank you guys for the great reviews. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.
All right.